Well, good morning from Rayburn. It is right before New Year's. I'm down here looking around for the BFL, which is coming up on the 7th or 8th, whatever that Saturday is. You know, tried to get in them last year and waited too late and didn't get in them. Had a good tournament. I caught a bunch of fish that day. But this year, with very little practice, I'm going to fish them just to have something to do. And I'll tell you, I've only got 2 days, maybe 3 days of practice. And 2 of them for sure it's going to blow like this. It is howling out of the south. But you practice on the days that you can get off and get down here and fish. So this, I had talked to a buddy who fished yesterday. There's a fish. Oh, that fish had it. Dadgummit. Yep, that one sure enough had it right there. On my little hybrid jig. You get out here and practice on the days you can get out here and practice. So here we are. This is going to eliminate a lot of deep stuff I wanted to fish today. So I talked to several guys that fished yesterday and it was really tough. And over the weekend it was pretty tough. There's some guys you can catch a few fish real early. I was out here at daylight, but it ain't happened yet. It's 7:15, so the sun's been up 3 minutes. And I'm just going to fish around. It's so weird not having the grass, but I'll walk y'all through the day as we go and catch them or not. We'll see what happens. It ain't a zero. We got a low fish. Hold on. Decent. I don't know if you just saw that or not. I don't think there's going to be footage on it, but I made a cast up there on that little ridge. This is a spot that I've caught them before. And basically with the wind blowing like it is, all I can do is fish stuff that I can fish. I really can't get out and look at the deep stuff I want to look at. So I threw up there and bait barely touched bottom and once smoked it. I pulled on him and missed him. And when I bait fell back to the bottom when I reeled up, and when I did, I felt him bite it again. That's the second time he bit it. The line broke, in fairness. That line's only been on this rod about a year. I've been terrible about getting my line changed out. But that'll happen between now and tournament day. But that sucker, there might be a big group of them right there, because he bit it. And I don't know if it's the same fish chased it down or another fish that was chasing him. A lot of times it's that second fish, I think, that's chasing them. And when that bait pops out of their mouth, he runs over and grabs it. So as quick as we can get rigged back up, we're going to throw him another little baby brush hog in there and see if they're hungry. And here's where that little bag comes in handy, because I've got my brush hog and my dip and die right here together. 6-cent bag that says swim, says drag on it. One next to it says swim. We are rigged. We are going to make another presentation. Ouch. As soon as I get that hook out of my finger. you know, there's just one little bitty rough spot over there, and you can drag it and drag it and drag it, and you don't get bit. And then when you hit that rough spot, it's like donk. As soon as you hit that rough spot, there's a fish there. This is one of those. I'm gonna cut the end of that hook off down in there. There is just a freaking pile of them right there. Okay, different rod. I must have a bad eye on that rod. That's a second one. Oh yeah, good lord. Oh, that rod eye is chewed to pieces. That's why I keep breaking those fish off on that thing. You know, that's something I'm really bad about doing, is taking those rod tips when I get a bait hung up and banging them, and it will chip up those ceramic tips so bad. It's so frustrating. I trash the tip of that rod. Dang it. And those are hard tips to find because you need a 5 ring and a 7.5 or an 8 tube, and you just cannot find those. They're impossible. I know you didn't see that fish, but that was a 3-pounder. I mean, it wasn't any bigger than 3, but that fish was 2 3/4 to 3 pounds, or 2 3/4 to 3 1/4 pounds. That's a solid fish. And you know, you're not going to win at Rayburn, even in an individual tournament with 15, 18 pounds. You're going to probably get a check. But at this point, with as little practice time as I have, I just got to find places I can get bites. I got a number of places I feel like I can get lucky and catch a big one, which, you know, luck is being in the right place at the right time. So a little bit of that's luck, and a little bit of that's knowing where your bait ought to be. And the other part of that is keeping your bait in productive water all day long, as much as you can. Every second you can have a bait in the water in a spot where there might be a good fish. You got to do that. And I am usually pretty good at keeping my bait in the water in a spot that there's fish around and potentially big fish. Places I've caught them big ones before. The advantage of spending a lot of time down here. I'm not going to do like, you know, I'm going to pick on 2 guys, Derek Mundy and Wyatt Franklin's down here right now, who are, you know, everybody that I know that's down here practicing sees 1 or 2 or both of those guys every day. And that's why those guys are so good, right? It ain't got nothing to do with being lucky. It's good fishermen and being able to spend the time on the water. So both those guys are going to make their first and their last cast on places they've been catching big ones. I just got to make them where I think big ones. If I could practice a little more, it'd be different. But hey, I got a job. I got a regular old job like the rest of y'all. Let's throw it back in there where we know there's some fish again and see if we can actually drag one out of there with a new rod. Got to get Mr. Newberry to fix a couple rods for me. guy right over my shoulder looking right at me. And I think it may actually be Phil Addison. If it is, I ain't worried about Phil seeing me, but it may not be Phil, so I'm gonna be kind of careful. But that was the next cast in there after I broke that fish off. Very next cast. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's how you win catching 12 inches in the back of the creek. Can you tell I'm tired of fighting the wind? You know, I know this is absolutely the wrong thing to be doing, but sometimes you just need a bite, you need a break from that wind. What you guys have not seen is the 2 or 3 hours I've sat out there just getting bounced around in the wind. And every once in a while you just need a bite, so I come up here and got a bite. I'll get back out there in a second. You know, it's funny how year to year and season to season you throw baits. You know, baits kind of come and go in your brain, and you throw them all the time and you don't throw them. I had a few years ago where, gosh, I threw a chatterbait half the time I was on the water. Years ago, all I throw is a spinnerbait, and this is a bait that D-shad, you've heard me talk about it. It's a bait that I used to throw a ton, and then I got on pretty much just throwing a Cinco and a clout, and then at O&H Ivy, I just happened to pick it up again, and they munched on it, and it's funny. You know, just like that, it's the thing that I pick up. I pick it up faster than I pick up the other ones, and it's just a cycle. I'll do that. I'll do that with a bait, but right now I'm throwing that sort of a pumpkin colored green pumpkin. D-shad, and spraying the tail, and they're eating it. They continue to eat it shallow. There ain't no good ones up here yet, but they continue to eat it. Well, so that's my first day of practice for the BFL. I'm out here just idling some ridges trying to find a group of fish, and I found 2 groups of fish. One I threw on and caught 2 little ones, and one I didn't throw on because there's 2 big ones there, and I didn't want to catch a big one. And it's a spot I've fished before, so we'll see. I've got really basically in a whole day, I've got 1 group of fish where I know I can catch. I think I can probably catch a limit if I need to. It'll be a long way to get there, but tomorrow I'm going even further up. So tomorrow we're going to go up where this is going fast right now, because it is scary. There's a lot of stuff in the water right now. But that's a day on Rayburn. The wind finally laid down, let me get out here deep and idle a little bit, which is pretty boring for doing video, but this is how you find those small groups of big ones, or big groups of small ones, or every once in a while big groups of big ones. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get this video up first part of next week, and then I'll hopefully get tomorrow's video. Hopefully we'll catch a few fish, and we'll get tomorrow's video up as well. And hopefully we'll find something else tomorrow. A couple more groups of fish, and if we can get 3 or 4 groups of fish, we feel like we can get on 1 or 2 of them. Maybe catch a little limit and get lucky and catch a big one. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow.